So for the longest time, I had a chronic pain and chronic tension all across the right side of my shoulder, neck, head, upper back, and it was just the way it was. And as I started doing this work and feeling into stuff and going inside and connecting to the environment and just doing the work, I started to, there was one day when I was like really feeling into that. And as I connected into that, it's like, okay, well, what happens if I really, if I follow that? Like, what's the tension trying to do? It's like, oh, I'm trying to get away. Like I'm trying to turn away from something. And then as I sort of slowed that down and felt into that, my heart started going really fast. And I started feeling panic. I was like, oh, like I started feeling terrified, just terror. And I realized and then I got an image. I got this image of just my dad with his just, ferocious, angry, red face right here. And I remembered in that moment the way that my desk was in my room as a kid. My dad would come in through the door and yell at me while I was like trying to do my homework or something. He'd be screaming at me right there, right? And so all of that just over the years, just trying to get away, and all the fear and tension, like that was all locked up in those tissues and in those instructions to get away. And so as I felt into it and started to explore the movements and slowed it all down and stay connected to the environment and worked with the image, all of these elements that are part of this process, the terror absolutely flooded through my system. And yeah, it was really scary. Yeah, and that's just one little example. There can be
Was this one event, or did this unfold over many days
there
or
was it was
weeks,
one
months?
big session. It was mostly all in one big session, and then there was some follow up. Like later, then started like figuring out what we call renegotiation. So, what did the body want to do in that experience? Take away the personality, take away the fact that he's much bigger than me and I'm a kid. At an animal level, what would it have wanted to do? Well, it would have wanted to fucking turn and attack. And so then that was further work where we work with what's called a healthy aggression, annihilation work, allowing yourself to destroy, eviscerate, chop off heads in your imagination, and really feel that. You know,
Got to clarify that.
feel the that sort of, yeah, feel it's called sadistic glee of just destroying somebody who has been torturing you essentially, which is that's what the body wants to do. It has nothing to do with compassion and forgiveness. You get there naturally through allowing yourself to completely fucking destroy the person at a physiological level with your imagination, with your movements, with your energy. Obviously not in real life, but yeah.
Like if we were having this conversation a few years ago, I would have just laughed at something like that, like especially when you talk about like the sadistic glee. But like I had all the same thing come up. It was 2 years ago. It was with you. I was in a van in the country somewhere. It was the same
Yeah.
kind of a thing. Different way, I'm sure, but like the same kind of energy, and it's come up a bunch of times since then in various ways. And it's incredible. And I think about that. It's come up for me in plant medicine ceremonies, and I'll be thinking like I can feel it when it's moving through the body, and I'll be thinking like, I mean, I don't know how people do this plant medicine or even like trying to work on this stuff without the nervous system model, because I would be absolutely terrified of what was going on in my body right now if I had no context or framework for it. It'd be like,
Yeah.
what is